Hi, good morning. This is my second video on my birthday. I just published a previous video talking about my 10 life's best quotes. And since I have a lot of time, I thought let me do another video today. So, what is special about a birthday? A special thing about birthday is most special thing is gifts, isn't it? The gifts that you plan to gift yourself, the gifts that other people surprise you with. Some are unintended gifts, some are planned gifts. So, for example, this chair is a gift from my wife on my birthday because she realized I do a lot of podcasts and I spent a lot of time working from home these days. So this is one of the best gifts, a gaming chair. And yeah, at my workplace, since I resigned from my last company, I got a gift card, an Amazon gift card worth 80 euros. And I get excited when anybody gives me an Amazon gift card. And what do I do with Amazon gift cards? Because they are gift cards, I take it as an excuse to gift myself books. So I'm a big sucker for books, but most of my books in the last several years have been on Kindle version, e-books, so to say, just to save some money. And that has been a pattern. So you would not see a lot of books at my home. And I do not have a bookshelf, so to say. Most of my books are in a digitized format. And then what happened? A few weeks ago, I watched Ramit Sethi's video, and he talked about the habits of spending and what does a rich life mean. And he convinced me that you have to decide what are the things that you passionately love and you should be spending, and what are the things that you don't love and you should be mercilessly cutting it down. And then I did a little self reflection, and then I said, my rich life is to have lots of books at home. Of course, I can read it on Kindle, but I also want to have a bookshelf with lots and lots of books. So with that, I decided to at least have my first 100 books. So there is again a decision made, right? So usually there are books that can go on Kindle as well, and then there are books that I want to keep it as a collection. And what is the decision trigger? The decision trigger is whether I would want to own that book for the rest of my life. So some books are have a shelf life, so to say. So say for example, if you want to, that book is relevant for you in your 40s or in your 30s, and then it would not be relevant later. And some are business books which are again time relevant. But I want to collect books that are meant forever. They do not have a shelf life. Okay, so yeah, that is one filter for me to decide whether I want to own a physical copy or not. So I got a gift voucher, or immediately went ahead and bought some books, and just want to talk about those books today. And as I said, my first 100 books, I'm trying to be very, very mindful of what are my top 100 books that I want to keep at. And then maybe then once I achieve my 100, maybe then have 250, 500, and so to say. But yeah, this is now become a major goal for me to actually keep physical books at my place. And no matter where in the world I land up, wherever I move, I should be able to take my books along with me. So let me give you a sneak peek of all the books that I have purchased. Actually, these are not all the books that have come. There are still some books that are going to come through Amazon, but I can't wait to share the ones that already have landed here. So this is the book by Shard Helmstetter. In the previous video, also I talked glowingly about this author. Uh, Being a big reader of it, I already had Kindle version of this book, and he is becoming a big influence in my life in the recent months. I'm doing a lot of reading. In fact, I want to read more of his writings. So this book is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. An interesting concept, very powerful concept of how to reprogram your mind, because we are all products of the programs that we have written in our brains, and those programs are shaping our personalities, shaping our mindset and creating our future self. Usually, self-help books talk about positive thinking and habits and stuff like that, but a lot of those tactics do not help if your internal programs are wired differently or written differently. And these programs have been, you are a summation of all the experiences that have happened since your birth. So you might not have had a very empowering past, and but your future need not be same as the past. But the accumulation of those experiences play a profound role in how you see your future. Without changing those programs, without changing those subliminal messages that have been programmed in your mind since the last several years, it is very difficult to impact change drastically. Of course, you might have incremental change, but if you have profound difference in your life, then you need to change your internal programs that has been fed over years. And that's what this book talks about: how to program it, how to reprogram it, and to change it, and through self talk, and how to write a new script internally so that your brain erases the past, which might have been disempowering, and starts programming the empowering scripts that are needed for your future. So, great book. Let me know if you would like to have a summary. I'm definitely going to do a summary of this book because this has played a big role. On the same lines, this is also neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the same concept. It is about the fact that your brain is not static. Many people think that, oh, my brain is shaped, this is who I am. But no, this is not who you are. You are different at every second because of new experiences. And the brain is malleable, it's plastic, it can be molded into what you want to become in the future. So that the concept is neuroplasticity. It has got say medical approval. It is not fake science. It is actually there are researches done and studies done that actually validate what this book says about the concept of brain being plastic and malleable, and irrespective of what age you are in, whether you are in your late 60s or 70s, you can still reshape your brain. So yeah, so power of neuroplasticity and what to say when you talk to yourself, from Shard Helmstetter. I have some more books that are coming from the same author. uh, Here's a book that I picked from Maya Grossman, and the reason I picked this book was I accidentally bumped into Maya Grossman on my LinkedIn profile. Maya is a career coach, and she herself has had a splendid career over. She has had 15 promotions, sorry, 10 promotions in the last 15 years in her career, and she has worked in some very reputed companies like, I think, Microsoft, Google, and other places. So fantastic person, and with very very but what I liked about her personality is, after having reached a peak of her career, she tried to teach the lessons of career success through her programs, through coaching, and then she went about writing this book. And yeah, and when I approached her to be my guest, so I'm going to be interviewing her later this week, talking about the contents of this book. But one of the best books, little known, but I'm trying my best to reach out to people and tell about this book. In fact, I have gifted this book to many of my young colleagues and people who I mentor for their career success and career growth. So do watch out for that interview. I will send the link right below in the description. And two of my very, very favorite books, War of Art. I have read this book when I was in Singapore for 8.5 years ago. The best thing about Singapore was the Singapore Library hosts world's largest collection of books all the books that you see in Amazon, you you will you will get to see in Singapore Library. It's called NLB, National Library Board, I think. So the people in Singapore who do not appreciate books is such a wasted opportunity. But when I lived there, I was a member of Singapore Library. Free. It's free. You don't have to pay a single rupee or a dollar. And that's when I read this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. So, what does the War of Art tell you? It teaches you to how to get rid of your mental blocks on putting out your creations to the world, because many of us have this inner resistance, the devil, so to say, which actually stops you from bringing out your best work to the world. And this book is such a treat. One of my best books, actually. You might be confused about the title, The War of Art. There's another book called The Art of War, which is by Sun Tzu, which is a completely different book. But this is the War of Art. That means the internal war, the battle that you have when you are not able to publish your first book, when you're not able to write that first blog post, when you're not able to do that YouTube videos. So there's this resistance most of us face, and only those 5 to 10% people are able to overcome that inner resistance. And this book teaches you how to overcome that inner resistance. And the same is the case with Turning Pro. Turning Pro is of the similar kind. I've not read the book yet, but anything that Stephen Pressfield writes, I can blindly buy and jump into it. So yeah, so those were the books by Stephen Pressfield. The next book that I'm looking forward to is David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, and let me just show you what this book, the influence of this book, Can't Hurt Me. Let me just show you on the screen. Share screen, Chrome tab, Can't Hurt Me, share. Okay, you're able to see it. All right, Can't Hurt Me. Why? Why did I pick this book? So just look at the massive ratings. When was the last time you saw a book with 18,500 ratings of 5 stars? Okay, so this man is massively popular, very hugely influential, and it's not without reason. He has every reason to be hugely influential. So this man was he had a very difficult childhood with poverty, prejudice, physical abuse, and then how he transformed himself in through self-discipline and mental toughness to become what he became a U.S. Armed Forces icon. He was the world's top endurance athlete. He became a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and he went on to become the world's Outside magazine called him the world's fittest man in America. So yeah, and if you see his Instagram or Twitter videos, he does daily videos while he's running. So he's out of the world. He's superhuman. All right. So this was so yeah. So it's a book that I haven't yet started, but I need this book, and I have seen people who vouch for this book from all over the world. I'm gonna read this. It's called Can't Hurt Me. All right, my next book, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rule of Life. I must admit that I had a very not so good opinion about Jordan Peterson, the person, but I think my judgment was without it was not a well considered judgment about him. I was too quick to judge him. I think one of my favorite quotes was, "We often judge people by their worst. Often judge people by their worst reputation, and we often judge ourselves with our best intentions." Okay, this is the quote. And I judged him, Jordan, with his worst reputation. So he had all the great things about him, but I picked his worst reputation, and that's how I painted him. but I was rightly corrected by many people, and that's why I picked this book. If you see, oops, it's difficult to. Are you able to read it? If you see, the New York Times says the most influential public intellectual in the Western worlds right now. Um, yeah, I was put off by the title of the book. It says 12 Rules for Life. I said, meh, whoever wants to read another list of rules for life, and why is he qualified to give me some rules for life? But I think I have been ably advised not to be so quick on judging him. Uh, but over 4 million copies sold, I think 5 million copies sold. I want to be sure, I want to be corrected, so I want to read it up. My next book is my favorite author, Robert Greene, The Laws of Human Nature. He is my favorite, especially after I read his book, Mastery. Not the 48 Laws of Power, but Mastery. Mastery is when I clearly remember I was reading this on my trip to the US several years ago, and I became a huge fan of him. I wanted to shout on the top of a mountain to everybody to buy the book Mastery. And then, yeah, his reputation became huge, and then I had a huge respect for him, and I wanted to read every book that he read. Thankfully, he wrote Laws of Human Nature. So this talks. So he actually drills down and goes to the nitty gritties of how humans interact and how do they build influence and power over each other, and what is it that goes behind the minds of people when they interact, and how do they cope and work together, and stuff like that. So it's the intricacies of humans on how they interact and survive. Great book. If you know philosophically, if you know how people interact and what do they need to grow and to navigate in this tough world, it's a great book. It teaches you all the aspects of dealing with the humans. So yeah, these were some of the books. As I said, some of the other books are also on its way. uh, Let me know if you want me to do a book summary on any of these books. As I said, I'm doing a book summary on what to say when you talk to yourself, because it's very practical. I'm going to do a book summary. But if you want me to do a summary on any other book, just let me know. I'll be happy to do it. With that, thank you so much. Bye bye.